We have somebody sitting in the White House who's leading us down the I can't personally understand how a convicted felon, 34 felonious, is that word? Counts of wrongdoing, gets to be president. How do you do that? I mean, you say, well, he was camped, I don't care. That ruling went down before he stepped into the Oval Office. So it just doesn't make sense to me.
Actor Morgan Freeman weighed in on the President of the United States, Donald John Trump.
The whole thing, especially the president and Democrats now are talking about income inequality, and that's basically what, when you talk about the richest 85 people on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's income inequality. Do you think that's, looking at, what's happening in the news now, is that a good idea?
It's a great idea. It is the greatest idea. We have a much more vibrant society when we don't have such a vast chasm between the haves and the have-nots. We need that middle ground that we call the middle class, the people who buy everything, people who use the products that the rich are creating, if they're creating anything other than wealth, right?
Right.
So it's what's happening with the Chinese economy right now. They're changing their whole outlook because they need consumers.
Yeah.
And without a middle class, you're not going to have consumers. You're not going to have it at the level that we normally would have it.
He would be consistent for some time in certain areas, of course.
So Morgan Freeman is with us today, and I've read up, obviously, on things that you've said in the past about Dr. Martin Luther King. And you had said this, Dr. Martin Luther King is not a black hero. He is an American hero.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think if you sort of categorize people, it tends to dilute their importance. Referring to Dr. Martin Luther King as a black hero, it lessens his stature. He's an American hero. He's no less than any other hero that's happened here, that we don't dilute like that. I think we've come quite a long way, but we had so far to go, and we still have quite a ways to go in race relations in this country. And I expect that by the time we've solved that problem, we will have developed others. So, life goes on.
Is the Trayvon Martin case, is that anything that is indicative or reflective of our relations among the races as a whole?
You want to say yes. I'm afraid to say yes about that. It's a little more complicated than that. But yes, I think that profiling is still a big problem we have here. We were talking about stop and search in New York. That's obvious profiling because most of the people they stop and search are black and Hispanic. The mayor says, well, yeah, but that's in the high crime zones. Really? It's like if you look in the prisons, who's in prison for drugs? Blacks and Hispanics. But that's the lowest echelon of the whole problem.
He'd give this interview to HLN in the year 2023. In modern times, while appearing on MS Now, formerly MSNBC, Freeman's conversation with host Lawrence O'Donnell turned toward broader concerns about the direction of the United States of America. I quote, "I'm constantly reminded of Germany in 1935, he told Lawrence. What was happening there? The brown shirts, those people that are marching through particularly Berlin and rounding up people, putting them in boxcars and sending them off," the actor went on. Now, this administration wants to build large detention centers, pointing to the admin's push to expand immigration detention centers. And we've even discussed this intersection of sports and how some owners are helping this cause. He'd add, "I don't know what I would say to young people other than if you are at all aware of where we're headed, where we are right now, and where we're headed. And if you don't agree with it, there is one sure way to change the direction of our country: vote." Here's my quick interjection. Is it a net positive to take part in the electoral process and vote? 100% yes. Does it stop at voting? Nah, it doesn't. What really matters is not just the races for president, Senate, Congress, but also your local races. These are vastly important. And if you want to stop this right-wing movement on the ground where you live, get involved, volunteer, donate, use your voice, use your social media, organize, build community, make positive changes for said community. This is why the whole mantra of, you want to make a change, go vote. I buy into it about that much. That much. It's about it. That is the least that you can do. There is so much more in between elections. And what really just frustrates me is people see this as the out. You're not going to vote your way out of fascism. You're just not. The list would note, as Morgan Freeman referenced on The Last Word with Lawrence O'Donnell, Trump went on to become the first convicted felon to be elected U.S. president in November 2024. Freeman supported Hillary Rodham Clinton in the 2016 presidential election, but when Trump was elected the first time, the Dolphin Tale star said he had hoped Trump would do a good job. Quote, "We just have to find out how we land. I'm not scared, though. I'm holding out hope that Trump has to be a good president. He can't not be," he told AARP in February 2017. Clearly, Freeman's been disappointed, because who hasn't? So why do some people, at least, feel that this is different now? Per Yahoo. First, Freeman isn't known for constant political hot takes. He has spoken publicly about social issues before, but he isn't someone who dominates headlines every election cycle. That relative rarity makes moments like this stand out more. Second, the legal context is concrete. Trump's conviction in New York is a matter of court record. The Constitution does not bar a convicted felon from serving as POTUS, provided the candidate meets the age, citizenship, and residency requirements. Lastly, Freeman's remarks didn't introduce new evidence or new policy proposals. Instead, they highlighted an existing tension between legal qualification and personal or civic interpretation. Such tension has been present ever since, and the interview simply brought it back into focus. And to this, I say, I don't totally agree. And I would add, James Tallarico beat Jasmine Crockett, right? And what I saw from Crockett was trotting out Kelly Rowland, love her, and former Madam Vice President Kamala Harris of California, former senator and former presidential hopeful. It didn't do anything. I truly don't believe that the celebrity endorsement means a lot anymore. What I think is important is continually speaking out, as I said previously, but going through the showcase of, we got this person and that person and this person and that person, it doesn't have the same effect anymore. You need to organize. You also need to utilize the tools at your expense. Are you going to go on smaller niche shows? Are you going to go on prominent shows? Are you going to go on podcasts? Are you going to go on streams? Are you going to do short form content with different creators? Like that is the name of the game in 2026. Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYT Sports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.